The Oklahoma Sooners, they got some big news today from a top 10 player in the 247 composite and top 5 player in the 247 rankings in Williams Nwaneri announcing that he is going to come visit the Oklahoma Sooners during the Elite Junior Day that they have set forward. But before we dive into it and talk about it, because there is a lot to dissect and break down here, go ahead and hit the like and the subscribe button. Hey, let me know what you guys are thinking down in the comments below. Where do you think this class for the Oklahoma Sooners in 2024 is realistically going to land? And do you think the Oklahoma Sooners can land Williams Nwaneri, the 5-star prospect out of Lee Summit North? So, by no shock and maybe no surprise to you guys, Oklahoma is getting a huge visit from Williams Nwaneri on the Elite Junior Day. And coming out of Lee Summit North, that might sound familiar to you because that is where Oklahoma got the elite 4-star offensive lineman Caden Green in the prior 2023 class. And when you look at what Lee Summit North has to provide the Oklahoma Sooners, well, you've got Isaiah Mosey, the 5-star wide receiver in 2025, but also you've got his dad who played at Oklahoma. And Mosey is very pro, kind of like what Brent Venables is. Take your visits. See what's out there. Make sure that you know exactly where you want to go and you have found the right home before you just go up to commit somewhere. So what happens is a lot of the times you've heard Parker and Brandon with 247 allude to this a lot, which is Mosey's going to take these kids on a lot of visits together as a team. They do stuff as a team, as a family together. So they take a lot of these visits together. And they truly get to experience the whole recruiting trail experience, right? That's what they're getting to do. Now, when it comes to this whole Missouri recruiting thing, especially for Williams Nwaneri's taken 5 visits to Missouri, 3 visits to Kansas, Nebraska, Oregon, and Oklahoma. This will be his 4th visit to OU. Here's why this is important. Because, yeah, he's taken 5 to Missouri. Oklahoma's going to the SEC. And more than likely, they will end up playing Missouri every single year. And every other year, they're going to be in Missouri. Which means Oklahoma is now going to have a more defined presence in that market once again. And this time, they're going to be in the SEC. So a lot of these kids that Oklahoma tries to go after in the St. Louis area, maybe the guys that they haven't been landing, now all of a sudden they might have a advantage over some of the other SEC teams. You say, well, why is that? Well, Oklahoma is only 301 miles away from Missouri, from the University of Missouri, which means it's an easy drive. And I'll tell you this from experience, I think the drive to Missouri, because I have family that lives in kind of like the Branson area and a little bit up towards the Springfield area, it's not a hard drive at all, guys. It's really not. In fact, I think the drive to Dallas, Texas was harder because you've got the I-35 construction. Shoot, with Missouri, you can just take Turnpike all the way up to Joplin, and then you're there. So it's only a 301-mile difference. And I get it. He's taken visits to Oregon. Oregon's 1,500 miles away. Nebraska's 179 miles away. And Kansas is only 47 miles away. So if it's really going to come down to distance, the kid would end up at Kansas. But you and I both know that that's not realistic. Now, Williams Nwaneri's recruitment is a little weird. He's a little funky. He's one of those kids that he's going to go wherever feels comfortable. Right? And I've been told this from other people that know Williams Nwaneri. He's going to go wherever feels comfortable. And so if the Kansas Jayhawks are comfortable, then yeah, he could shake up the whole recruiting world and go to the KU. Now, again, it's not likely. I'm not saying that's going to happen. KU's doing a great thing down there. They're not in position to get 5 stars yet. If they do, I'm going to eat those words. Missouri, I think, is a real threat here, though, because they're in the SEC. And Missouri has proven that they can go out there and land top recruits in their state. Hence, in 2022, they got the top 5 overall player, number 1 wide receiver in the class, Luther Burden from St. Louis. That was huge. And then they got Sam Horn from Swanee, Georgia, who, I mean, the dude can sling the ball around, and you expect him to be a starter. But then you've got, I mean, I look at that 2022 class. Marquise Graciel from St. Charles, Missouri. You have DJ Wessellock from Boonville, Missouri. Isaac Thompson from St. Louis. Jamarian Wayne from Baldwin, Missouri. So, yeah, they can go out there and get guys. And then in 2023, they go out there and, they take a couple guys that maybe the Sooners wanted. They took Joshua Manning, the 4-star wide receiver out of Lee Summit, Missouri. So there's your connection there with the Lee Summit High School. And then they took the 4-star wide receiver out of St. Louis that Oklahoma wanted, Marvin Burks. Now, you can give up and say, well, maybe Oklahoma didn't recruit that position as well. Maybe. But at the end of the day, they still wanted the kid. And Missouri recruits their state pretty well. And Missouri is a place that is starting to gain a lot of traction on the recruiting trail. You're starting to see top players, 5-stars, come out of the state consistently. And so for the Oklahoma Sooners to have a rival like Missouri year in and year out that they can go in there and visit, potentially capture and gain some traction in that market, that is huge. And you're starting to see it because now Oklahoma has the potential to not land 1, but 2 5-star top 10 defensive linemen in the 2024 class. And if you watched me break down the 2024 predictions on the defensive line, you heard me say that, you could end up with 3 or 4 defensive linemen. Now, you'll need to go watch that video to actually hear what I think about that class and who I think will commit. But it's a very real possibility. And for OU to land 2 top 10 defensive linemen in one class, that's huge. Now, we're talking David Stone and Williams Nwaneri, obviously, because we're not getting Colin Simmons. I think Colin Simmons is huge upside. It's a race that I think Oklahoma potentially could be in as a dark horse. I don't see us landing Colin Simmons. But when it comes to Williams Nwaneri and this Elite Junior Day visitors, you've got really an elite list. You've got Williams Nwaneri. I would expect David Stone to be here. I haven't heard any announcements, but I would expect David Stone to be at that Junior Day. You have the 5-star wide receiver Micah Hudson, who rescheduled from the one here in January to the March 4th one. You have Kobe Black, the 5-star cornerback, and not confirmed, but there might be some other 5-stars. So y'all need to stay tuned, and you all need to be paying attention to this list because you've already seen a lot of players all over Twitter announce it. Xavier Robinson, and there's a couple other guys that we're going to get into in another video. But here's the deal. Williams Nwaneri, when you look at his height and his build, at 6'3", 245 or 6'5", 245 pounds. If the dude adds on about another 20 pounds and can maintain his athleticism and his speed, you're talking about a guy that could potentially rival for number 1 spot in this class. No joke could do that. Because when you look at what he's been able to do in high school on the statistics, you've got 99 total tackles, 52 solo tackles, 12 tackles for loss. And then he's got 31 QB hurries. He's got 17 sacks. So you would imagine that in his 26 career games that he's played in high school, in his senior year, he's going to grow and develop on these numbers. If he tacks on a little bit of weight, come in and immediately be an impact guy on the defensive line for the Oklahoma Sooners in their first year in the SEC. Yeah, this guy could definitely be a number 1 player. And he's no short of elite offers. Like, he's got offers from almost every major school in the country. The question is, who's going to be able to go in there and give him a good sales pitch? Because right now you have Miguel Chavis and Todd Bates as the primary and secondary recruiter. You would imagine Brent Venables has some feel or some touch here into this recruitment. But ultimately, at the end of the day, Williams Nwaneri is taking the visit to Oklahoma. And this is things that we're not used to seeing here in Norman, especially during the Lincoln Riley era. It's not something that was common. It's changing. The SEC has changed the way that this staff is able to go out and recruit and the way you're going to see Oklahoma recruit. So guys, go ahead and jump down in the comments below. Let me know what y'all's thoughts are. Does Oklahoma land the 5-star defensive lineman Williams Nwaneri? Additionally, what do you think about this class in 2024? And if you guys haven't already, you guys got to hit that like and the subscribe button. Because listen, we're going to be launching some stellar interviews with Reggie Pearson, Jacquees Petaway, and some other guys that are going to be coming in 2024, and some guys that just got here in 2023. So you're going to want to make sure you hit the subscribe button and hit the notification bell.